As the Anglophone crisis continues deepening in the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon, young people in Kamer in the Ndogamantum Division, northwest region, protest against illegal arrests and other illegal practices of some top officials of the National Armed Forces. We'll be bringing to you details in this newscast. And at least 59 persons are killed by gunmen in northeastern Nigeria. Those were our top stories. Thanks, dear viewers, for joining us on this edition of the news on Equinoxe Television, live from my headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Babla Jonathan, beginning right away in the crisis-hit northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, where the situation, the socio-political and security situation remains unstable, and the Anglophone crisis has continued deepening for close to 4 years today, with killings and other atrocities, destruction of properties continuing in those two regions. And in Kamer, Ndogamantum Division, northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, young people are now protesting against illegal arrests and other illegal practices of some top officials of the National Armed Forces. They weren't protesting and they were calmed down by administrative authorities, as we hear in this report compiled by Fomi Armstrong Sander.
Some youths of Kamer blocked the major roads of the town, demanding that the company commander of the National Gendarmerie in the town should leave, something which is unusual.
One fairness thing first is because they want to take them to Bamenda, in which administration, all the offices that are in Bamenda are here in Kamer, in which I believe that all problems can be solved at the level of this division. We are very annoyed because the administration here, they have not been taking measures to all those type of things. They will help every blessed day. They collect money from people every blessed day. We believe that if you have come to work for the people, you work for the people first before you put money. But their interest is the money before their work.
They are accusing the company commander of arresting those who deal in fuel illegally and taking them to Bamenda, but the company commander rejects the accusation.
Les identistes ont trouvé refuge dans ce village, qu'on appelle Takeja particulièrement.
Separatists have taken refuge at a village. Recently they smuggled in gun and bullets, and what they need now is fuel. Since the authorities placed a security post at Ngarbu and Tumbo, the closest place is Kamer. That's the reason why we redoubled our vigilance in that zone.
Il est question pour eux de s'approvisionner en Kamer sur notre flanc ouest.
The angered youth of Kamer, who moved to the gendarmerie office to demand for the release of their friends arrested unlawfully, were met by the senior divisional officer.
There are issues we can handle here. So I want to thank some of you. I met. That is the spirit of the Kamer man. Listen to your authorities. If that problem was above us, we will seek for solutions where your hands cannot reach. So you don't need to vent your anger by blocking the road. It will show that we are copying bad examples elsewhere.
After a crisis meeting, those who were arrested as a result of the fuel maneuver were released.
We knew that our brothers were going for a crime not committed. Our hearts are so happy, we are so thankful.
Kamer should be recalled as never orchestrated a protest since the crisis began in the northwest and southwest region.
Smanjik and Gabriel reporting, and from Kamer we take you to neighboring Ngarbu, still in the Ndonga Mantum Division, Northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. An Ngarbu massacre case has been opened for preliminary inquiry before an examining magistrate at the Yaoundé Military Court. 3 elements of the National Armed Forces, Sergeant Baba Ngida, gendarme officers Sanding Cyril, and first-class soldier Haranga Gilbert, and Tata 4 Maxwell alias Bullet, and 17 members of the vigilante group made up of unidentified Fulanese have been found guilty and charged. They were charged with violation of instructions, group assassination, and arson and destruction of properties in group. The case was on the table at the military court in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, yesterday, and we shall be bringing to you updates on Equinoxe television. Still in relation to the Anglophone crisis, the case of Samuel Wazizi, journalist with CMTV, a Boya-based media organ in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, is still in the news as the demand for justice by journalists, civil society, political, national and international rights and non-governmental organizations continue rising to the sky. Some journalists took to the streets in a peaceful protest today here in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. In Bonanjo, they were members of the Cameroon National Trade Union of Journalists, and they were dispersed by forces of law and other. The members of the Cameroon National Union of Journalists were protesting against the killing of Samuel Wazizi and demanding for justice for the CMTV journalists. In the meantime, family members of Samuel Wazizi continue maintaining that he was not working with terrorists and that his farm has never been given out to terrorists for a camp. And we have details in these extract of some of his younger brothers. Take a listen.
My farm that have cocoa, plantain, but the early 2018 we were working there with my brother Samuel Wazizi. He's my only brother who brought me up since I came to Boya. We were there, we spent a lot of time there. Nothing, there is no camp, there is no anything there. There is no camp, there is nothing like amber camp in that place.
Mr. Babila, this is the entrance leading to Samuel Wazizi's farm. This is the entrance. During the dry season, cars, camion, tractors always come to this farm to carry things to the road. This is the entrance to the farm. From the evidence, you can see fresh grass to signify that it's a motorable route. Due to its absence, see, cocoas are dying, everything is dying. An orphan who was managing his life here, now the breadwinner of the family is no more. Everything is down. Nobody come to this farm again. Look at the farm. Since Wakenda, we were planning as if we will stay in the farm for a very long while. So they took him away. This is where Samuel Wazizi used to have a rest. When we are tired, we come and do some certain things here. We cook our food and the rest, but the place is down, nobody to take care of it again. We are right inside the farm. You can see for yourself to signify so nobody live in this farm. There is no camp here. When Samuel Wazizi harvests his cocoa, the car came right here to carry the cocoa away. This is where Samuel Wazizi harvests his cocoa and pack. This is his pack. He pack everything here. After that, the breaking of the cocoa continues. You can see all peelings of cocoa. All peelings of cocoa. This is the place. Now all peelings of cocoa, where he always harvests his cocoa and pack.
I and my elder brother were the person that prune the farm and work the farm. Samuel Wazizi was a student by then. That he's keeping amber in the farm. There's nothing there.
As a journalist, he was doing his normal job. At times he left me in the farm and tell me that I want to go and meet one of his friends. They want to go somewhere with the governor and the rest. He was the one he was running this errand like that and come and meet us back in the farm.
He was not working with separatists. He's a journalist, well renowned and known to the whole entire population of Bunia. Everybody knows Samuel Wazizi as a journalist.
Those were younger brothers of Samuel Ajika Apunwi, popularly known as Samuel Wazizi, who died after being detained incommunicado. And now we talk about the problem of inadequate electricity supply. This remains a serious problem in Cameroon, from the big cities to the hinterlands. Recurrent power failure, inadequate electric energy supply is making life very difficult for inhabitants. And here in the town of Douala, some inhabitants took to the streets protesting against the poor services rendered by the electricity production and distribution companies in Cameroon. We shall be coming back to that in a short while. Time for us to talk about a study carried out by Afrobarometer, which reveals that African leaders taking advantage of the COVID-19 pandemic to limit freedom and hold on to power. It also reveals that Africa has features which might favor a ravaging effect of the coronavirus across the continent. For me, I'm Sander.
The study carried out in 34 African countries by Afrobarometer outlines futures unique to Africa, which might favor a devastating and long-lasting COVID-19 impact on the continent. The study outlined fears that Africa's fragile healthcare systems and economies will provide little protection for the pandemic's potential ravages. Data collected from more than 45,800 respondents from 34 African countries reveals that millions lack access to potable water, with about 4 of every 10 Africans going without potable water. 22% of respondents say 1 in 5 Africans lack clean water frequently. Just as troubling as access to potable water, 38% of Africans say they or someone in their families went without needed medical care. A frightening number of Africans live in areas without access to health clinics. Afrobarometer also revealed that Africans are economically vulnerable, and that as nearly all of the 54 countries go under coronavirus lockdown, survival of the majority, who are mainly traders, hawkers, retail workers and unskilled manual laborers, is threatened. Some of the vulnerable factors which featured in at least 1 in all of the 34 surveyed countries in Africa includes trust deficit between the population and elected officials, political gamemanship and international stand for public health and freedoms. On trust deficit, the study reveals that most Africans lack trust in their elected officials, running from presidents, members of parliament and local government officials. This factor, Afrobarometer noted, will hamper a synergetic fight against COVID-19 and pave a way for a disturbing spread of the disease across the continent. The study, however, shows that most Africans trust traditional and religious leaders in leading the fight against COVID-19. Politically, Afrobarometer noted that African governments without the capacity and moral authority to cooperatively engage their citizens in the COVID-19 response have resorted to harsh and coercive tactics. The study outlines the possibility of dictators using the COVID-19 to strengthen their hold on power in Africa and state-imposed limits to freedoms under the pretext of ensuring public health security.
Earlier that some inhabitants of Cameroon's economic capital Douala took to the streets protesting against poor services rendered by the electricity production and distribution companies in the Cameroon, and a recurrent power failure or inadequate supply of electric energy remains a major problem both in the major cities and in the hinterlands in the Republic of Cameroon, while some were protesting against poor electric energy supply. Others, notably in Beijing, the Douala 5 subdivision, are complaining over the fact that several electric poles are falling and the cables are lying on the ground, exposing the inhabitants at the risk of electrocution. Innocent has more. Innocent with that report on inadequate electric energy supply in the Republic of Cameroon, which is provoking protests in different parts of the country, and the most recent one occurred here in the Douala capital, the economic capital of Cameroon, notably in the Douala 4 subdivision, while those in the Douala 5 subdivision, notably in Beijing neighborhood, are complaining over the fact that several electric poles are falling and the cables are lying on the ground, exposing them to the risk of electrocution. Innocent has more. On to something else now. Cameroon's House Speaker said there is a real hope for a preventive treatment and cure for coronavirus in Cameroon. In his address at the opening of the June ordinary session of Parliament, Honorable Kamer highlighted efforts of government, public health authorities, and experts and traditional initiatives in the fight against coronavirus. However, he went further to say that traditional medicine that have not been tested and proven or confirmed cannot prevent infection, while condemning what he calls the stubborn attitude of citizens. The House Speaker urged all to scrupulously respect the barrier measures of the government and the World Health Organization, and to Honorable Kamer government should hit hard on recalcitrant citizens and concerning the construction works ongoing at the section of the hemicycle in Guayaquil consumed by flames last year. The House Speaker said the rehabilitation works are progressing at a considerable pace, and it was the first time since 1965 that the lower house and the upper house of assembly meeting in the same place in an ordinary session. Now, out of Cameroon, at least 59 people have been killed in a suspected jihadist attack in northeastern Nigeria. Gunmen entered a remote village in the Guibio district of Borno State yesterday afternoon, killing dozens. According to local reports, the village was also raised in what is believed to have been a reprisal attack. No group has yet claimed the attacks. Coming up next, Talking Point. Njang Denis, national president of the Popular Action Party, is joining us from the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. President.
Good evening, all viewers of Equinoxe. Good evening to all Cameroonians. It's my pleasure to be part of Talking Point this evening through my own little contribution to see how our Cameroon, our nation, can move ahead.
To the warning against the military, notably as far as the Anglophone crisis is concerned. Why are you warning the military?
Well, thank you. I made a declaration concerning the multiple military atrocities that have been perpetrated on many innocent civilians since the escalation of this Anglophone crisis. I made it very clear that the military is there to protect the national integrity of the country. There to make sure that Cameroonians live as one and feel comfortable wherever they are. But unfortunately, see the escalation of this Anglophone crisis. I mean, a dirty war is led by Mr. Biya on his own citizens, making the citizens fight each other. We have realized that so military atrocities being perpetrated on daily basis, and it has been formed like a routine action. So I made a call, I made a declaration at the level of my party, and I called on, and I made a clarion and a patriotic call on all our military personnel, I mean, among which I contest also many from that they should be very, very patriotic.
Sorry for the poor connection there with Njang Denis, national president of the Popular Action Party, who was speaking to us from the nation's political capital. While the technicians fix some issues with the connection, let's have this report by Equinoxe on the poor electric energy supply in the Republic of Cameroon. And I said that some inhabitants of the Douala 4 subdivision went protesting against the poor electric energy supply, and others, notably in the Douala 5 subdivision in the BG neighborhood, are lamenting over the fact that several electric poles are falling and the cables are lying on the ground, exposing them to the risk of electrocution. They
need get life for learn. Mommy, them they need get life for do anything.
Inhabitants of Venice Quarter, popularly called Trois Boutiques in Bonaberi, Douala 4 subdivision, manifesting at the Enyo branch office against deprivation from electricity for about a month today.
No extension, no photo, no light. We are too much tired. Today we are today.
Even when the electricity comes, it comes with low voltage. So much so that our fridges cannot come on. We cannot do anything. We cannot watch TV. Instead, when it comes to that low voltage, it damages some of our equipment in the house. And today we decided to take it on our own, to go to Eneyo Ndobo to manifest so that they can hear our cry and come to our rescue.
Not only did they complain about the lack of or the epileptic power supply, but also fallen rotting electric poles and cables.
Some are still hanging, still to fall, and these poles that have fallen already with these cables on the ground, it's a big danger, it's a big risk to our children. As we all know, they are playing around, they are lottery around, and it's a risk to them. I don't know if Enoyo was waiting that a child should be harmed, or even an adult. Is a risk equally to an adult, that an adult should be harmed before they can come to our rescue, or that we should go to them to manifest before they can react.
Preserving food, fish, meat and perishables has been problematic, especially to business persons.
They are not be able to preserve my meat. After yesterday, I carry midway with the inside congélateur, I throw it for bush. But since like no day na over losses.
Je suis dépassé. Tout un mois que les bien non glacés.
Ça fait déjà un mois qu'il n'y a pas la lumière.
This hairdresser has not been able to use some of her electrical equipment in her salon, depriving them from electricity for a month has not stopped them from receiving exorbitant bills.
I don't have so much electrical equipment, but I pay a bill of 25,000. 35,000 is really too much. It's really alarming.
On a les factures élevées aux gens, on ne sait pas ce qu'on fait avec.
And a new official who encountered them has already assured solutions to their plights.
they have sent some technicians already. Presently, some technicians are in the field, are working already to arrange the situation. They asked us to elect 2 persons that will go to Kumasi to demand for a transformer. So 2 people are already on their way to Kumasi.
It is not only this fraction of Bonaberi inhabitants striking against poor annual services. The population of Beji in the Douala 5 municipality has also been causing fallen electric poles and cables, putting inhabitants at risk of electrocution.
Nous sommes ici à Beji-Kongi, ça fait de cela plus d'1 mois.
It is a month since heavy rains and strong winds brought down 5 electric poles in this quarter, thereby blocking roads and the cables, endangering lives of residents.
Parce qu'il y a le courant qui passe toujours dans ce fil-là. Donc depuis le 25 avril que les poteaux sont tombés.
This woman has tabled several complaints to new officials in Bonamoussadi who have allegedly not reacted.
Tous les jours quand j'appelle, 2 fois on me répond, 2 fois on me dit oui, le dossier est sur la table, le dossier est sur la table.
That her life is now threatened by the fallen electric cables which have blocked passage into her compound. She is compelled at her old age to climb a hill before entering her home.
Je ne traverse pas. Il faut voir le bâton pour que je traverse la colline pour monter. Là, ce n'est pas facile pour moi, une femme de cet âge ici.
On the part of the Beji inhabitants, they either desert the blocked roads or perform gymnastics to move on.
J'ai donc peur que, au lieu que Corona me tue, il ne faut pas que c'est le courant finalement qui me tue.
Unfortunately, due to some technical issues, we're going to end this edition of the news here. Thanks for staying with us.